everyone, welcome back to our channel startuplanes.com. I'm Namrata and I'm taking interviews of the CEOs and founders of several innovative startups in India. In today's interview, I'll be talking to Mr. Nitish Ray, the founder of FreightFox. Having worked in the logistic industries for more than 10 years now, Nitish finds his passion in solving problems faced by customers on a day-to-day basis. Thus, Nitish has dedicated himself in building a cutting-edge data-driven logistic operations and orchestration platform for Indian manufacturing industries. You want to know more about this business? Let's get into the video. Hello everyone, I will be taking your interview today. Thank you for joining. I'm Namrata. And if you could kindly introduce yourselves one by one.
Sure. So, Namrata, thank you for taking out this time. And my name is Nitish. I'm the founder and CEO of FreightFox. I'm basically a mechanical engineer by education. Come from defense background. Studied my engineering at Army Institute of Technology, Pune, and that's the common connect also among all of us, as Manjri and Sandeep also introduces. So I've spent almost over a decade of my career with manufacturing, heavy engineering and power industry. And in 2018, roughly, I started doing a couple of things around the entrepreneurship and being from manufacturing background and looking at what's going on in India and the ecosystem. Finally started this company which we call it as FreightFox today. In somewhere the company got incorporated somewhere in 2020 amid the COVID times, and from there we are taking our journey forward now.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I can go next. My name is Manjari. I'm working as the Chief Product Officer for FreightFox. I've spent about 14 years in the technology space so far before FreightFox. Started my career with a company called HSBC here in Pune. Spent about 5.5 years there and then moved on to a company called ThoughtWorks. And through ThoughtWorks, I've actually worked for customers around the globe in a variety of different domains. So I've worked with Sears in the US. Then in travel, I've worked with Expedia and TripAdvisor. Then in banking, I was working with Suncorp Bank in Australia, and then moved on to working with Metro Group based out of Germany. When I left ThoughtWorks, at that point in time, I was looking to work in a startup, particularly working in the Indian setup, and that's when I ended up meeting Nitish and Sandeep. So I found what they were trying to do in the Indian industrial logistics space very interesting, and that's when I decided to join them. So that's me.
Great.
Sandeep.
Hi, I'm Sandeep Mukhopadhyay. I'm one of the co-founders, and I lead technology at FreightFox. Previous to this, I have around 14 years of experience. I also mostly into ad tech domain. I was one of the early members of a company named as PubMatic. My last stint was also with Zeotap. PubMatic now is listed in NASDAQ recently, in this year actually. And before that, I also did my own startup into the MarTech space, marketing technologies, something called as Spyboxy. And before that, to 2008, I tried to dabble my hands into the restaurant business as well. So always been into a space where I wanted to do something of my own and trying to create some sort of a legacy. Here, along with Nitish and Manjari, I'm trying to create a value to our customer into the industrial logistics space, and we'll talk about the journey more.
Right. So my question to you three is, how did you come up with the idea of the startup?
yeah, okay. So maybe please feel free to add Sandeep and Manjri. But for me, it was having spent. So I've been associated with manufacturing from the moment I got out of college in 2009. I started working for Kirloskar Brothers Limited, followed by Thermax, and followed by Fortum, which is into power. And all the three industries were more or less related to the manufacturing space within India as well as across the globe, because Kirloskar and Thermax are the Indian brands which are operating across the globe. And I've always been on the business development front, and always saw that logistics made a lot of difference in terms of delivering the value. although whether we realize it or not, sitting in that business position from within the system. But the hiccups which are happening around in the logistics can actually reshape the entire experience for your brand or organization completely. Looking at the kind of impact that it could create, and the kind of the manufacturers have to deal with a significantly fragmented ecosystem on the transportation side of it. That is where I thought about that. What would be the lowest hanging fruit is if we can can we deliver the freight procurement, which is basically buying the transportation capacity, procuring the transportation capacity with some sort of right strategy or some sort of technology intervention and data driven approach to give some instantaneous value. That is where essentially the idea came in, and one fine day with my thoughts, I just wrote it to one of the company's leadership team about what I was thinking, and they gave us a listening ears. They understood what we are trying to say, and they found merit in it, and that is how the journey started, and the entire idea of FreightFox, what it is today, was germinated or conceived at that stage.
Yeah. Right. So, Manjari, yes, yeah, my question to you is, how difficult was it in the beginning?
Right. So there are lots of lots of different aspects as an answer to that question. The first and the foremost is that we got incorporated during COVID. So during the first wave of COVID, I would say, and that was a particularly difficult time, because we were completely remote, and remote was the new way of working. But that wasn't, a very well understood way of working. Now it is becoming more mainstream, but at that point in time, it was difficult. And particularly with business development, especially in the B2B setup, which is a very, I would say, high touch, intensive, way of sales. It was really difficult to be able to, establish that connect. And it still is. I mean, even though digital is becoming mainstream, however, it still takes a long time to be able to, mature a relationship with your prospects, when you're working completely digital. Whereas face-to-face meetings, on the other hand, are much more effective. So this was particularly, I would say, still is challenging to some extent. Also, what we are trying to do is very, very, I would say, innovative. It will probably become mainstream in the next 5 to 10 years. However, it is not mainstream yet. So we have to find courageous executives within the organizations that we are targeting, who want to go beyond the current way of working, who want to go beyond the status quo, and look at how data and technology and how information that is being provided by FreightFox, by the likes of FreightFox Systems, can really help them in changing the way they manage logistics, right? Because logistics is a key pillar of supply chain. If it is dealt with smart systems, systems that allow you to track how your operations are going, and allow you to take meaningful interventions much early on. So predict what might go wrong, and allow you to take interventions much before things actually go wrong. All right. So usage of these systems can really enable the smooth and effective logistics, right? So while this will become mainstream, I think 5 to 10 years down the line, but it isn't mainstream yet. Things are still handled in a very ad hoc, manual fashion with disconnected systems. So finding courageous executives who would want to take that leap, and who would want to experiment with modern age systems, with data driven technologies, is something that we've particularly found challenging.
Yeah. Right. So Sandeep, I want to know that when you three were starting out, was there an existing market gap that you could identify, and your product would be a fit in that market gap?
Yes. So, Namrata, if you see today's market are all driven by experience era, right? It's an experience era. So if you see companies like Amazon, so it's nothing but a consumer logistic business, right? Ultimately, they are delivering consumer products it's delivering product to the consumers, right? Similarly, Swiggy is a food logistics company, right? The last mile food delivery, you can say, right? Then there are companies like Ninja Cart, which are focused on agri-tech, but again on logistics, right? The backbone is actually logistic, right? Now think of it, the traditional companies, the traditional manufacturing companies need to compete with these companies which are focused on experience, and the customer are more demanding in this experience era, right? So definitely there was a the logistic competitiveness or the supply chain competitiveness need to be more sharp than before. That was one of the problem statement that we are trying to solve, right? And it is a need, and it is a need to compete in this experience era, right? So this is how we started, and and we are trying to fill this particular gap where we are trying to make the manufacturing companies more competitive in the logistic landscape, right? And so this is one of the this is what we are focused on as a problem statement to make these companies more competitive into this space.
Right. So now we have discussed. Yeah.
Namrata, just to quickly add, and I'll just take a moment. A sentence actually explains very clearly that what's the gap in the market which we identified is about. If you see the logistics in India, surface transportation in India is about a $300 billion size opportunity, and we are yet to see $1 billion company in that space. That's one of the largest gaps actually, if you ask me. And there could be multiple dimensions of going there, reaching there, and making that substantial impact. And fortunately, in last over 3 to 4 years, we are seeing a lot of disruption, a lot of new trials, experimentation models which are coming in. And we'll soon hopefully can expect that in such a big space, we also find a player which can make a substantial difference or impact in the ecosystem. Yeah.
Right. Like you are saying that the logistic business is a huge domain that is yet to be tapped. So if for a layman like me, if you had to explain your business model, how would you do that?
So very simple, and as you rightly said that in very simple terms, how we do. See, the business model has got multiple elements into it, and the most important is actually the value proposition what we give, right? And the FreightFox value proposition lies on 3 pillars, right? Can I make Namrata sleep peacefully at night, right, without any anxiety or uncertainty, being a logistic manager or being a logistic leader, right? And in the morning when Namrata reaches her desk, can Namrata just open our platform and actually see that what's going to be her day looking like and what's going to be her week looking like? And is there a need to shout on people, or is there a need to just sip a cup of coffee and sit relaxed into the seat, right? And do some strategic work, not a transactional or day-to-day hassle work, right? That's the value delivery ecosystem we are looking at actually, right? So that's the value proposition FreightFox brings in. It gives you the power to decide with certainty and confidence in the logistics space, which is basically a huge missing element right now. Like, we do not have a visibility. So you went to your desk in the morning and you are able to see that, okay, where all my entire network map looks like for today and maybe for next 3 days, right? You understand, being a manufacturer, being a person into the logistic leader's shoes, you will be able to be certain about certain things, be less anxious about it, and you know that things are in your control. That's what is our value proposition. How do we provide this is, Namrata, is the second part of the business model pivot, which is basically we anchor this entire thing with a very unique service and technology delivery model. So it is not that just I'm giving you a platform and saying that please take it and use it, right? Because see, platforms requires, and logistics being a complex market, it requires a lot of understanding interventions from the market. Based on external data, you know about yourself, but based on external data, there are a lot of things which are changing the way you are thinking right now. So enabling those parameters via a unique combination of technology, data, and services is what FreightFox delivers. Obviously, if you see we work with a very selected, specific target group of customers right now, which are mostly the large manufacturing companies with a size of 1,000 to 5,000 crores in revenues. And that is where the solution fits in and gives them the kind of value they are looking for. right? So these are some of the key elements which are there. We still do direct consultative business since B2B, and because of the space is new, it requires a lot of motivation and understanding of fears from the entire I would say the organizational leadership per se. So again, the channel remains a very highly we can say discussion oriented, consultative and engagement. So we also achieve a lot of customer empathy, you can see, or customer intimacy during as we go along in these transactions. So these are some of the key pillars which actually cover for our business model. Obviously, the cost structures, the revenue streams are similar to the models which you might find in a SaaS and service kind of a business model, which is subscription based, license based, or services based fee in front. And we prominently work with manufacturing companies so although we are a logistic technology and services in terms of logistics, when we actually understand transporter, but here FreightFox connotation is logistic is basically we work towards and we work for manufacturers in this space. Yeah.
Right. Manjari, my question to you is, if you were to say that my company stands out from the rest of the competitors, what are the 3 reasons you're going to state to validate that point?
Right. That's a good question, actually. So I would say the first and the foremost is our understanding of the transportation space in India. Particularly because of Nitish's background, we've been lucky that we have a deep understanding of the space already. We have a deep understanding of what impacts supply, right, and what impacts demand, and we are able to track both of these elements to be able to present the right picture to our customers as to what is going to be the demand and supply situation at their node. Right? By node, I mean a part of the network, that matters to them. Yeah. So one of the foremost things that I would say again is our understanding of the space. Right? We understand the space very, very well. We understand what transporters are looking for. We understand who are the important players in this ecosystem. We understand what impacts the supply and demand. Right? We understand what the manufacturers are looking for. We understand what are the competing industries for a given manufacturer. Right? We understand what are the complementing industries for a given manufacturer that would have the same demand. Right? So we are able to bring all of this together to provide a very unique solution. Right? As Nitish was saying, it is not just about understanding how your operations are going. It is also about being infused with information from the external ecosystem for you to be able to make the right decisions. Right? And we feel that we are better placed to be able to provide that information from the external ecosystem based on our understanding of the setup. So that's I would say the first and the foremost. The way we conduct ourselves, right? So we are not just about providing a technology platform. We are about helping our customers through and through. So we provide strategy, right? So when we walk in through the door, we don't just say that here's a platform, use it and see whether it delivers any value to you or not, right? We start off by really understanding the operations of our manufacturers and by giving them very tailored suggestions on what should they be doing, right? What should their strategy be towards logistics procurement as well as management. So that's a starting point. We augment this with a digitally advanced platform, technologically advanced platform that we've already built. And then over and above this, we also have an operations team, right? That brings this all together. So we provide a bouquet of services which encompass, an end-to-end value delivery. So we have strategy, we have technology, and we have operations. I would say without these 3 being there, any other solution offering is still incomplete, right? And so we've been very, very conscious of providing all these 3. That's a differentiator again. And the third thing I would say is our focus on customer delight. So be it a small request to a strategic request, we make sure that we are able to turn around things for our customers in time with quality, right? And we are able to ensure that they see what value does FreightFox truly deliver. And you will see that the customer lifetime value, as someone says, in case of FreightFox is much higher than probably what our competitors see. Yeah. So these are the three things.
Okay. So Sandeep, if I were a potential job applicant at your company, and I ask you that, sir, why should I work for your company? What should you reply?
Namrata, so we are a company which is based out of India and working for India, right? Increasing the logistic capability of these manufacturers, right? How does it help? It increases the logistic reliability and the effectiveness of the products that you're consuming, right? And it impacts the last man standing in the Indian ecosystem, right? So it is a product, it is a platform, it's a company which is working to make India better, right? That's one of the core aspect of why one should work for FreightFox, right? It is also a place where the technology intervention, right, is fairly less, and technology can do greater changes into the Indian society, right? It will really impact Indian society, right? We are not building a game, we are building something for the real India, the Bharat, right? That's the essential difference of our company. And definitely on the technology side, we are using AI, we are using machine learning to figure out what really works, right? To deliver intelligent tips and recommendation to our manufacturers into the logistics space to help them run the logistic capability in a very effective and efficient fashion.
Okay. So my next question is for all three. You can go one by one. Is that if you are not doing this startup, what would you see yourself doing?
Yeah, so I would say interesting people first.
I can go first. I would be doing something completely different. So people say that I sing well. So I would want to be singing in a band. Yeah. So I would want to be singing in a band. Yeah. Go ahead, Sati.
So one of the hobbies that I have is I love teaching, right? So whatever I know, I like to teach, right? So there are only two things that I'll probably get into. One is into the restaurant business, and because I'm a foodie, so I kind of believe that it kind of really satisfied your soul, right? So that is something that I believe than the body actually. So and another thing, teaching. I might be teaching in some place where I can make a difference to the future of India.
So for me, Namrata, had I not been doing this startup, I would probably be studying in huge depths about the sustainability and the environmental or industrial interdependence or codependence. That's something which is a very personalized interest area for me.
Okay. While choosing vendors for your company, what are the parameters on which you evaluate them? Nitish, you can.
So Namrata, as any company would, we first of all treat all the people working with us as our partners, and we truly believe that they should have right trust, transparency, and belief in us, and it's mutual. It's a two-way street, right? And what we look at our partners is, because we are a startup, we need, as Manjari said, we need quick turnaround. So we don't have the luxury of time. The only thing is, time is a rare commodity. So we are constantly looking and reaching out in the market for whatever synergies we can draw from the existing things. We do not intend to reinvent the wheel, as we say, right? And we scout for strategic opportunities to engage with the companies which can be as a bolt-on service or as a augmented service on the platform. So those are there, and the vendor must have a quality of, as I said, transparency is the first and the top quality which should be there, with the required agility and responsiveness is something which is there. Obviously, it all should come in an affordable price, what we can afford in a given market situation or in a given business.
Okay.
Manjari, my question to you is, have you planned any long-term or short-term goals for the company?
Yeah, we have a lot of goals. So one of the I would say mid to long term goals for the company that we have is so let me start off with the short term goal first. The short term goal is to be able to make freight, so logistics operations, be it the way you procure logistics or be it the way you manage logistics, more strategic, right? So bring about that change where people have moved on from the status quo, from the traditional way of conducting these operations, to more strategic, data backed ways of conducting these operations. So that is the short term goal. But in the long term goal, we are cognizant of disrupting this whole ecosystem. So we want to do it in a in various different ways, which we are thinking of right now. I wouldn't go into the exact details of what these are, but just to summarize these, we are thinking of very disruptive alternate mobility models, which we can introduce in the market. Right. Right now, manufacturers work with something called as full truckload operations or less than a truckload operations. But can something different be done so that the inventory moves in the right amount at the right time within the right costs, right? So that you would have heard about just-in-time inventory concept, where you don't send excess inventory so that your inventory hold-up costs are less, your days of inventory outstanding are less, right? So through effective transportation mechanisms, how can we enable this, and what can we do differently, right, to be able to enable this? Right? Is something that we are thinking about. Sorry, I'm not at the liberty of actually disclosing what we are thinking of at this point in time, but this is one very crucial area which we are going to focus on in the long term. Another very crucial area that we are going to focus on is sustainable transportation. So we are seeing right now that a lot of the particularly MNCs operating out of India are thinking about sustainability, are thinking about reporting on their scope 3 emissions, carbon emissions, and we are cognizant of this. So we are trying to put together a framework of assessing transporters on the basis of their carbon emissions, their scope 3 carbon emissions, and how can you bring in a more sustainable mode of transportation. Right? So these two things, I would say, are things that we are particularly focusing on.
So Namrata, just to add to what Manjari said, it is basically today at the best, actually, and when I say at the best, the industrial manufacturing or manufacturing logistics is having cost consciousness, they have service consciousness, they have capacity consciousness. What we are trying to transition them into is data consciousness, sustainability consciousness.
Yeah.
That's basically a primary goal, along with in a long-term vision of a coupled alternate mobility, which can augment this entire space to it.
Okay, understood. Sandeep, I would like to ask or have your views that when a startup wants to grow or expand, funding plays an important role in it. So, what is the funding scene in your company? Is it currently taking external funding, or is it planning to in the near future?
So Namrata, we are seed funded by a set of angel investors as of now. We are we are planning, and we are in process of raising the Series A or the pre-Series A round. So that's the current status of funding as of now. This is all.
Okay. Lastly, my question to all three would be: what are your views on startup lanes?
So before we talk about startup lanes, the startup ecosystem in India is very interesting, and we all are part of it. Actually, me, you, all are. Whether so, there is no age limitation, there is no domain limitation. We all are there in, and we are trying to make. And now we are having a lot of thrust on making things better for us. So we all are building in startup ecosystem, are building a lot of things to make things better for us. In these, we generally tend to get lost on our own tracks, actually, right? Because we are very focused on our own activities. We are doing a lot of stuff which is there. That is where I found the startup lanes, as we say, aligning that kind of bringing that ecosystem and onto a place, trying to actually connect all the minds which are working on different direction, probably on a platform where the exchange of ideas can happen, where the exchange of thoughts can happen, where the lot of cross content can be seen about what other industry, what other people are trying to do, and again the opportunity of networking. So I believe startup ecosystem require to grow and to augment itself. The more and more startup lanes and augmentation of your capability will be a boost to the founders and the entire investor ecosystem as well. So that's my views on startup lanes. And I know the post and honestly, when I started looking at it now, usually I visit and see what's going on and try to see what's new on your website and on your platform which is there. So.
Okay. Manjari and Sandeep, would you want to add something to it?
Namrata, a startup when in the initial phase requires a lot of mentorship, connects, resources, right? Even funds, right? So there is a lot of support that he needs from the ecosystem, right? I feel startup lanes is trying and able to achieve to get all these different connects into one place and help entrepreneur grow and help in his journey where he wanted to probably change the world or change the particular ecosystem in a better way, right? So it's I believe is a conduit which most of the early stage startups are looking for to be part of.
Okay, Manjari.
Right, I was going to say the same thing as Sandeep. Yeah.
Okay, well, that would bring an end to this interview today, but it was lovely talking to you. Thank you, all of the three people, to take out time and joining and talking and sharing your views on the business and the ecosystem in today's time. So, thank you.
Thank you so much for talking to us, Namrata. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.